Hi everyone, it's Jessica Dybzinski, and today I am participating with the Twisted Sisters from Close to My Heart, and I am going to be twisting this stamp and thin cut set here. It is from the Cozy Up Card Making Workshop Kit that is in the new catalog, and you can see here that with this workshop you can make 16 cards for each of these awesome designs, and that is the only way to get this particular stamp and thin cut set is through the workshop. I have not made my cards yet, but I have been already using this fun little wreath on several different projects. So to prepare, I have just cut 3 each of those wreaths in a couple different colors. And then I've already stamped this fun softball, which is also from the new catalog. And then I'm just going to start building a fun background for my daughter's softball picture here. And I will do later a second page for this layout where I will include the 8x10 photo of the entire team. But this one's just going to be that 5x7 of her in her softball uniform. If you have been watching any of my other videos, you know that I have been on a kick trying to work through some of those 5x7s that have been sitting on my desk waiting to be scrapbooked. And so this one I think is going to be a lot of fun, especially with this little wreath die cut. I just see so many different uses for it, not only for making cards, but doing fun backgrounds like this, or just as something to build with an embellishment cluster. So this right here is kind of the basic idea of what I've got in my head, and then I will cut out that baseball later and use it as one of my embellishments. So what I think I'm going to do is actually add a little bit of stamping to my background. So this is the Background Elements stamp set. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to pull off the Splatters stamp, which is probably my favorite one on this particular set. And I'm going to stamp some of those splatters in that ballerina color ink. So the cardstock colors that I'm working with here are raspberry, ballerina, and honey butter. I just picked the pinks because they went along with my daughter's uniform, and then there is a little bit of yellow on her hat, and so I thought that the honey butter would be a nice way to mix it up from all of that pink. So I'll grab that splatter stamp and then my ballerina ink. I did turn over my Versamat because the front side is great for aligning things and using the grid, but the back side has a foam backing to it. So that way you can just kind of do some of your stamping and you don't have to worry about putting that foam insert that comes in the stamp sets like underneath your paper. You can just do all of your 12x12 stamping and you don't have to worry about that because it's a great way to get a nice crisp image from your stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and do some ballerina splatters next to all of the ballerina circles. And then I did kind of think about maybe adding some other stamping in the other 2 colors near those circles, but I decided that I'm just going to do a tone-on-tone thing here, and the stamping is going to be what I use for ballerina. So you'll have to stay tuned and see what I do with the other 2 colors. So I love using the Barely Art Precision glue because I have that finest tip in the bottle, and it is so perfect for this little delicate die cut. And so I will do most of my gluing off camera so you don't have to watch the tedious part of putting it all down. But basically for this first circle that I'm starting with, I'm just kind of looking to see where that 6-inch mark is on my Versamat. And then I've already kind of loosely lined up all the other ones to make sure that everything is going to be approximately, centered and have everything kind of neatly arranged there. These circle wreaths are not symmetrical, and I was also not trying to keep them lined up in exactly the same way, so they're kind of twisted and whatnot. So I figured by the time I was done doing my embellishments and stuff that it wouldn't really matter if something was not quite straight. All right, I grabbed some of my tri-blend markers, 2 different pink colors so that I could figure out which one that I liked better. And I think that I ended up using the pale pink blend. I will leave that linked in the description box down below. I'll double check on that color. But I just used the darkest shade of that to color in the heart. I love all of the new sports stamps that are in this catalog, and if you have the circle thin cuts, then the one circle does fit perfectly over them, and so you can cut it out and you just have a perfect little embellishment for whatever sport you are going to be doing on your project. I grabbed the volleyball one and the soccer one as well. I just think that those are so fun. Okay, so that's going to go over there somewhere eventually. I'm just going to kind of set it there for now. I did grab some things from my stash here. These go back to April. If you did anything with the Cardstock Carnival that Close to My Heart offered as a special, these were some of those die cuts that you could have gotten back then. They are no longer available, so I apologize about that, but I do love to use the things that are in my stash because otherwise they're just going to gather dust. So I did use the raspberry colored flowers from that die cut set, and then also I'm going to turn to the honey butter that also came in that same die cut set, and I'm going to grab some buttons. So like I said, I'm kind of going for a tone-on-tone look here with my embellishments. So we've got the splatters and the ballerina ink, we've got the flowers and the raspberry color, and then I'm going to do a couple of the buttons here in the honey butter, and I'm going to try to keep them all like on their coordinating circles and just kind of spread them around the page a little bit. I don't glue anything down for a while just because I want to make sure that it looks okay. And then also I haven't taken care of my title yet, so I thought probably I should figure that out before I glue anything. So I did use my Slim Alpha thin cuts, and I cut out the word softball on black cardstock, and I did 4 layers of cardstock so they have a nice dimension there. And then I did again go through my stash, and I found the stamp set. It's one I keep reaching for. It's from the It's the Little Things stamp set. And there's a stamp on there that says Good Times. So I'm going to put that underneath my softball. And that way I'm kind of bringing in some of that black. And this is about the point where I'm starting to kind of pay attention to my visual triangle. I did add a couple of other little honey butter things in there just to complete that triangle for the page. But I think otherwise things are going to work out pretty well. So at this point, I've done all of the tedious gluing off camera, and I'll just kind of hold it up a little bit closer for you to see. I'm going to do a little bit more to those buttons though, because I kind of have a thing, naked buttons really bother me. Even though these are paper buttons, I feel like they do need to be sewn on. So I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to stamp on underneath the softball title. I'm going to use that one that said Good Times. So I'll just grab that, and again using the back side of my Versamat so I don't have to worry about that little foam insert. I will very carefully make sure I don't have any ink on my block there and get that stamped down. So that'll be the title. And then there were a couple of words on this stamp set too, and I thought it would be kind of fun to build on those ballerina circles just a little bit more. So there are there's like a whole list. It says like amazing, awesome. I can't remember what all of them are, but they're, fun things. And so I'm going to grab 2 of them, and I'm just going to curve my stamp so that way I can stamp it around the circle and have it follow the curvature of the circle. So in order to do that, anytime you've got like a longer, skinnier stamp, you can totally adjust it. Just stick it to your block and then kind of pick it up and move it, do a little bit of adjusting. And the nice thing is you can look through your block to see, is it at the curvature that I want it to be before you stamp it down. So you can take something that's, originally straight and, kind of twist it in any way that you need it to go. So here is where I'm poking some holes. Like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of sewing through my buttons. And so I like the way that the thread also kind of adds a nice little bit of dimension and texture to the page. So I'm almost done at this point. I'm kind of looking at it and I'm thinking, you know what? I do have a shimmer brush in the raspberry color. And so maybe rather than having the marker color in that heart on the softball, I'll go over it with my raspberry shimmer brush. Honestly, now that it's all said and done, I don't love it as much as the marker. So I think I might stamp and color that again and then kind of fix that later, now that I'm all done with the video. But it was kind of fun to put a little bit of sparkle on there. So you can see a couple of still shots here. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. There are several ladies who are participating in the Close to My Heart Twisted Sisters Hop. So I will leave their links in the description box down below. Here you can see a quick peek at that right-hand side of my other double page layout to go along with this one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have enjoyed. Happy crafting. Bye.